Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you've had a lovely week. It's been a week. I don't know, I always feel like every time I do these videos, I'm always saying, what a week. But it just shows you how 2020 has been. Whereby you just say, what a week, what a week, what a week. This week, I live in the United Kingdom, and this week, England, because a lot of people always forget, those of us, especially those of us who live in England, London, or the Southeast, tend to forget that there are other parts of the UK, and Wales has actually been in lockdown for a while now. I think Northern Ireland is as well. But England went into what I'm fondly calling lockdown 2.0. It's not as restrictive as the first lockdown because the children are still going to school, but there is a lot of restriction on a lot of social gatherings. So we can't go to restaurants, you can't go to people's houses. We're just all being asked to stay home again. So yeah, we've got that. And then we've got the thing that I've been trying to say that I'm avoiding, but I haven't really been able to avoid because I have actually been following it as well, which is the US elections. And like everything in 2020, it is proving to be very, very different. Let me just use the word different. Hopefully by the time we watch this video, we'll kind of have some sort of inclination about who's going to be the winner. But yeah, it's been a very interesting week. I hope yours has been interesting as well. I hope with all of the drama that has been going on, you've been able to find some time to read and also some time to take care of yourself as well. To be fair, I'm going to be honest with you here. I haven't read as much as I would normally read. I think I haven't normally, but as in I read every evening, but I have just been on CNN and Twitter when I should have been reading. So honest here, I hope to do better next week. And also it got me thinking about what book I want to review this week. And somebody who talks to who follows this video said, I always want to see what you're going to bring out from your book wardrobe or your book chest. And it's a book that I think I have actually spoken about. I've done a written review on my page, but this week I thought I'll do it and look at it from a slightly different angle. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look at it from a slightly different angle, and I'll try to tell you how I'm going to piece everything together. So the book I'm reviewing this week is Our Iceberg is Melting by John P. Kotter and Holger Rathberger. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. It's a book written by both of them about navigating change. But the really different thing about the book is that it's written in a fable format. So it's a book about a colony of penguins who were living in a place where the iceberg was melting. And we know that penguins live where it's cold, and if the iceberg is melting, they can't live there. So there's changes that we're coming across. And he talked about, as in, it illustrated all of the various characters and how we all behave when change is about to happen. That's one of the things I really like about the book. This book and the Who Moved My Cheese and the characters there is a very, really good illustration of how people, all of us, it's not just people, but how all of us react to change and the various ways and the various characteristics and behaviors that we exhibit when we are confronted with change. I don't know if everybody knows this, but by profession, I'm a change manager. But I don't just look at change from the perspective of just me being in the management or managing change in an organization. I'm very interested in how change evolves and how we all individually navigate change, because life, you can't help but have change. You know, we go through various changes of life. You get married, it's a change. You have children, it's a change. Your children leave home, it's a change. We throughout life, you know, you go through life, you used to have two parents, and then you end up having one parent. I now have just one parent. It's a change because I used to have two parents. So we all have to navigate change, and there's a way that we all deal with it. So there is a particular element of this that I wanted to look at in this book, and I'm just reading the Q&A part of the book, and I'll just give you my thoughts on it. And it's regarding the story, the power of storytelling, and the power of how we can use the power of storytelling and stories to tell ourselves to navigate change. I'm reading from page 152, and it's a Q&A with the authors, and this is added into a revised edition. So if you have the old version, you probably don't have this part in it. You, Kotter, have been doing research on organizational performance, particularly in a changing world, and the leadership needed to drive good performance for decades. Almost exclusively, you have published the results in professional books written for managers. Here you choose something very different, a fable. Why? John Kotter: I have been studying for a very long time how people learn. And I think it's pretty clear that our brains are hardwired for stories. A good story is easy to absorb and remember, especially if it has emotional complements. This probably is because that is how humans have learned for thousands of years. The leaders tell the youngsters a great story about one from their clan grabbed dinner from the mouth of a saber-toothed tiger and saved the tribe, or how it was eaten by the saber-toothed tiger. A dramatic, interesting story has important lessons in it. One form of story is the animal fable. It has the advantage of being short, and it is appealing to a much wider range of people than traditional management books. If it's done well, with interesting animals doing unusual things, it can be striking and particularly memorable. And good fables have some basic points in them because they stick around in your mind, can actually change what we do. So I was thinking about and talking to people about the whole idea of taking important management lessons and putting them into fable form when Holger came along with a great idea. So basically, John Kotter is the person who wrote the framework for what we now know as the Kotter's 8 Steps of Change. And what he was saying there was that his co-author, Holger Rathberger, came to him with the idea of them turning some of that into a story, into a fable story. So basically, the insight I'm taking away from that book, and something that I want to leave with anybody who's watching this video, is the power of the story. At the book club session that we had on Sunday, there was a particular profound thing that happened, and someone shared something and a change in behavior that she had because of the power of the character in the story that we read. So month we read Sephiata's Everything Good Will Come. And she took a significant change in her life because of the power of a story, because of the power of a character in the story that she was reading. Sometimes we tell people things, we tell them things, and we say, why don't you see this? Why don't you get this? Why are you not understanding it? But the reason is they don't understand it is because they cannot link it to the emotional elements in their heart to see why this is important for them to do. This also applies to us as well. There's a different story you tell yourself when you say, I want to be a fit 70-year-old woman, rather than I want to be that 70-year-old woman. I'm a 70-year-old woman. I can see myself in the park with my grandkids. I can see myself going to the shops and still being able to walk long distances. You're telling a story and you can resonate with the story. So today, what I'm taking from that book and what I want to leave with people today is, are there things that you want to change in your life? What stories are you telling yourself? Are there things you want to change in others? What stories are you telling onto others? There is one of the best ways, and one of the things that I'm working on, I don't think I'm there yet, is trying to use the power of storytelling to create change in the life of people, to create change in the life of those around us. There are various stories that are being told. The narratives that are being told in the world today are various. What narrative are you going to tap into? What narrative are you going to use to bring about and effect the change that you want to see in the world? What narrative and what story are you telling others? What narrative and story are you telling yourself? What narrative and story are you telling the younger ones around you? Because I don't want to limit it to just people. I was going to say to your children, but it's not just about your children. It's about those people you mentor and those that are around you. The power of storytelling is immense. And it's something I'm looking to tap into. And it's something I'm also trying to hone my skill on, not just in my professional life, but in my life generally. So storytelling is such a powerful thing. And that's one of the things I want to bring up from the book today. Again, the book is called Our Iceberg is Melting by John P. Kotter. It's a really, really easy read. And don't let the fact that I said it's a change management book dissuade you from reading it. I think everybody is a change leader. Every single one of us is a change leader. Like I said, we all navigate change. So you're going to have to lead change at some point in your life, even if you don't do it in the structured format of an actual project or something. We all are going to lead change. If you move house, it's a change. You're moving from one location to the other, and you have to lead that, because if you don't lead that, it's not going to work out well. So that's all I wanted to share with everyone today. I hope you found that useful. I'm also going to introduce a few stuff on my page where I'm going to bring about certain books, about certain topics, and just link it to various other things. I'm just trying to look for ways to be a bit more creative and look for ways I can actually serve everyone who follows me on my page, on all of my social media platforms. So thank you very much for watching today. And I hope I've been able to not just convince you to read the book, but also convince you to look at how you tell stories. Some people are not story people, but I think we can all be story people. Thank you very much for watching, and hope you have a lovely, lovely week ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.